Yes, ma'am. CSE students are there and IT students are also there.
Okay.
So, good morning, students. Today we have organized expert talk on computer networks and its research opportunities. So today we are having Dr. Kaushika Patel ma'am with us. She is working as assistant professor in the Department of Electronics Engineering at Birla Vishwakarma Mahavidyalaya, BVM Engineering College, since 2002. Right, so she is having 19 years of teaching experience, more than 19 years, I guess. She has completed her bachelor's degree from SP University in 2000, and she has completed the master's degree from DDIT in 2008, and she has earned her PhD degree from Charusat University in 2016. Ma'am has guided several undergraduate students for the project and the research work. And ma'am has also published and presented several research papers in the international and the national journals as well as the conferences. So we are very grateful to her for accepting our invitation to deliver an expert talk on this particular topic. So we welcome you, ma'am, in DevStar.
Thank you very much, Vidhi madam, for giving my introduction to the students.
Thank you, ma'am. So I'm handing over the session to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I'll be sharing the screen for the talk. And the students, I would like to interact with you specifically, first of all. So, can anyone tell me you are which semester students, fifth or seventh?
Fifth
Any of,
semester.
yes,
Fifth semester.
Fifth semester.
fifth semester. Okay. Till now, what you have studied for computer networks?
Um, uh, di- like DNS,
Yes.
then we have in that particular we have learned about email HTTPS. Then
Right. So basic ideas you do have. So actually, what I have thought of, that is to divide the talk into two parts. First, that would be discussion about the basic terminologies which we are using for data communication and networking or computer networks. And then after some of the research scenarios we will be discussing in this particular discussion. I tell this or call this as interaction because it won't be one-way communication only. As and when you are feeling to ask me anything, you are free to ask me anything. As Madam has said, I am a faculty in electronics department. I am working as associate dean for the international collaboration at BVM Engineering College. With that, the things which we have worked in my MTech, when I was pursuing my MTech with Professor N.J. Kothari at DD University, we had worked for the uh, real network implementation. Some of my seniors had worked for the simulation part for the satellite links, and then after I have carried out it with the real networks. So that exposure I got for the implementation of the satellite links. Even we worked with ISRO for a few months for the testing of the algorithm implementation. So basically, we had worked for the link testing, and that link testing was the satellite link testing. Then after in PhD, even we had worked for the different scenarios both the simulator, emulator, and the real environment conditions we checked upon. So even though I am a faculty for electronics or electronics communication, I am much attached to the computer networks as a specialization, right? So we have opted for this discussion. Is my voice clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
And the presentation is visible?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So in front of you, the objective slide is there, right? So as I told you, I have splitted my presentation in two parts. 1 hour we will be spending behind the basic terminologies used for computer networks. Even though you are knowing, the perception for each and everybody would be different, and always we are getting some new things when we are having the discussions. So as per the discussion with your faculty, I have turned for some of the basics for computer networks. Then I have included the research topic or a case study with some of the tools which we can utilize for the research area, computer networks, some of the evaluation scenarios which can be implemented with the parameters on which you can carry out the evaluation, right? Some of the results which we have already worked upon, them I have included. With that, kai type na topologies or networks you can implement into the research, because after completion of this your UG program, you might be going for your PG, right? So in PG you will be working for the particular area of the research, and the research is very much important when we are knowing exactly what is research, right? Otherwise you won't be able to carry out the research, right? So basically what people have done till now, that we are not going to work upon, right? We are going to invent some new things, and it's not always the exactly new things, right? You are adding upon something into the previous research, that is even an innovation, right? I am having a pencil, that pencil is able to write down. Now what I want is, in the darkness also, I must be able to write with that pencil. So I am fixing up a bulb or a lamp, a small lamp on my pencil, which will allow me to write in the darkness, right? So without disturbing other people, I am able to. So that is modification in the present pencil. In old days, cycles we were running by paddling it up, right? Now we do have the solar cells mounted on the cycles, and you are making it effortless. So again, that is an innovation. So basically we should know how you can carry out the research. That is what people have done till now. You are modifying it, or you are enhancing it. So that is exactly what you will be doing when you will be going for your post graduation programs, or otherwise for the PhD programs, right? So by looking into the need, I have splitted the presentation for the basics for computer networks or terminologies we will be discussing. So as and when you will be working for some research area in computer networks, at that time those terms won't be new for you, right? એટલે સુધી I can drag you up, and then after we will be working upon some of the tools which are very popular nowadays, and you can have the utilization of it. એની સાથે સાથે how you can carry out the research that you can see. So can anyone tell me what's the difference between computer networks and distributed system? In EC, people, they don't know, because we are not the computer students. So we don't know what is distributed system, but for computer and IT mass, I can say that you are very much clear about the computer networks and distributed system. Can anyone elaborate on this particular slide? It is written in front of you. What is computer networks and what is distributed system, right?
I think so. In computer networks, two system works independently, whereas in that is distributed system, it works as one only.
Very good. So on the end user, it seems to be a single coherent system that you can say, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Ha, ha. So actually computer network on a distributed system, in both the cases, you will be having the collection of the different computers only, right? But in one case, what you can say, in one case, you are looking into a collection of the PCs or the nodes which are actually behaving independently, but they are interconnected and they are able to exchange the information, right? Exchange of information can be two-way, not a single way, right? It is bidirectional, that you can say. So in computer networks, again, it is a collection of the autonomous computers which are connected by the single technology. Connection for the technology should be uniform, otherwise you won't be able to communicate, right? એક બાજુ તમે RJ45 ને કનેક્ટ કરી દો, બીજી બાજુ if you are connecting RS232, then directly you cannot communicate or you cannot exchange the information. So it should be connected through the single technology. These two computers are said to be interconnected if they are able to exchange the information, right? તો જ એ લોકોને interconnected કહી શકાય. The another part, that is the distributed system, where you do have collection of the independent computers that appears to its user as a single coherent system, right? We are using the World Wide Web on end user, on application layer. You are not knowing that what the lower layer stuffs, or on the another side what is happening. So we do have multiple thousands of legs of nodes connected together. As one of you said that we have learned DNS, right? So in that case, what we are doing, we do have the collection of the different nodes which are finally going to result into one coherent system. So that is the internet or the World Wide Web is the best example for the distributed system, where on the end user it seems to be a single coherent system. Basically, in the network software, we are dealing with the protocol hierarchies. Why this is needed, that we will be discussing later on. The design issues for the layers are important. On the software part, these services can be connection oriented and connectionless. Different service primitives are always important for us, and the relationship of the services to protocol is the one of the unforgettable part for the network software. Very briefly, we will be going through all these topics for the network software. Why we should go for the hierarchy in the protocols, protocol hierarchies in computer networks. It always reduces the complexity. How it can reduce the complexity? When we are dealing with the protocol hierarchies, how it reduces the complexity. Each layer or each protocol on a particular layer is assigned a specific task to be performed, right? So it is not by and large a duty of one entire embedded system which is going to perform it. It is splitted into different parts, so it is going to reduce the complexity. The networks are organized in the level or otherwise layers, that you can say. We always have to deal with the layer and protocol, right? Layer and protocol is layer and to layer and communication for transmitter and receiver. What is protocol? All of us know that it is an agreement between the two communication parties on how communication has to be proceeded. So the network software part, it deals with this, the layered architecture. If you are a transmitter, you are going from top to bottom communication, where through the physical media you are transmitting it to the receiver, and receiver process it bottom to the top approach, right? Where when we are talking about the physical media, it can have the any of the options for the communication. The channel can be either wired or wireless, or otherwise different communication techniques can be utilized for the successful communication. One more thing I have shown here in the presentation, that is layer 5 protocol. If you are on layer 5, transmitter and receiver both, right? We have named it as host 1 and host 2 because we do expect two-way communication, not a simplex one, right? So two things or two interfaces you will be able to see: layer 5 to layer 4 communication or interface, and one that is on the same host, and second that is on the cross hosts, right? So layer 5 communication, which is shown over here, that is Vidhi madam, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. All of a sudden my connection has been lost.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So when we are talking about the layer 5 communication or layer 4 communication, layer 3 communication, it is called as virtual communication, whereas your actual communication takes place between this one to the second layers, right? So this is representing the actual communication, whereas this is representing the virtual communication. Can anyone tell me the difference between the actual and virtual communication? And is it necessary to have the virtual communication as well, કે ખાલી physical communication થી કામ ચાલે? That is a question. Are you clear about the question? First is, what is physical communication and what is virtual communication? And second is Virtual communication needed.
Students, you can unmute yourself to answer the questions.
If you don't get it, you can clearly say, ma'am, we are confused or we don't know it, right? That is also okay with us. Is anybody knowing the slide which I have shared to you is having one, that is virtual communication, and second, that is a actual communication. I should know that up to which point you are clear. We are not going in the detail of the protocols. We are not going into the exact configuration, what we are doing in the laboratory for the server and all. We are just trying to understand the terminologies.
Ma'am, means in virtual communication, everything occurs on virtual devices, and it is
Okay.
needed.
It is mandatory. Okay. And in actual communication, it is very much clearly mentioned in the diagram. Actually, it is not on the virtual devices. This is layer 5 of host 1. This is on layer 5 of host 2. What should be in between these two layers? Suppose તમે transport layer લઈ લીધું બંને layers પર, right? So on both the transport layers, what are the conditions needed? Can anyone tell me?
Ma'am, one layer to the other layer in the same device, like same networking, is real communication. And one layer of one device to the another layer, like layer 5 of host 1 to layer 5 of host 2, is virtual.
Very good. You have very much clearly understood it. But the thing is, when this virtual communication takes place, a virtual communication ને set કરવા માટે, what is the mandatory conditions? See, layer 5 of
They
host
must be
1.
on the same.
Yes.
No, go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
you complete it.
So like they must be on the same page, meaning that both of them should have like same configurations and same understanding. So like જો 1-0 છે તો બંને માટે 1010 નો interpretation same જ હોવું જોઈએ.
Great to hear that. So the thing is, when we are talking about the actual communication, it is first layer to second layer communication which is in fact actually taking place, right? Whereas when we are talking about layer n communication as your virtual communication, it means that the conditions which are appearing on layer 5 of host 1 should be the same conditions on layer 5 of host 2. Then and then this communication would be possible. Why it is like that? Suppose I am speaking hello world, right? That hello world is transmitted through host 1 to host 2. So host 2 is a receiver over here, right? So in the same format, actually your receiver doesn't have the copy of what you are transmitting, right? Blindly on the implementations of the protocols and the conditions, it is predicting that the transmitter has transmitted hello world, and sometimes it is not receiving it properly, right? Or otherwise some corruptions for the messages occurs. So for the faithful reception, the conditions on layer n should be same on both transmitter and receiver, and there it deals with the protocols, right? So if you are dealing on network layer, then the protocol which you are implementing on network layer of transmitter should be the same protocol on the network layer of a receiver, right? That is what virtual communication means. We know the protocol hierarchy, where we do have the naked message on the top of all. Then we are going to add either header or trailers or header trailer together to the messages, and we are making this particular message interpreted as payload to the next layer. Any other you are adding something, these headers or trailers, they must be consisting of the information, important informations like addressing or error detection, error correction kind of things, right? Different at different layers we do have different uh, identifiers for the data. Like if we are talking about transport layer पर जो data છે that is called as segment. When we are moving down to the network layer, that same data with its implementation of header or adding of header, you will be calling it as to be packet. Again, when you are moving to the data link layer, then you are creating a frame. Then it is going to the physical media where we are we are transmitting the stream of the bits, right? So there are some issues because of which this layer architecture came in the picture. The very important part is addressing. Addressing is not only the destination address, you are dealing with the source address as well, right? So always whenever we are talking about addressing, then it deals with both the source address and the destination address, right? So addressing is always important for us, and in the laboratory or when we are accessing the internet, at that time we are able to see the multiple things, or when we are using our PCs or laptops, at that time we are able to see the different types of addresses. The very proper things or the easiest thing which you have seen are the physical address as well as the logical addresses. The another part, that is error control. Why error control is needed? As I told you, transmitter is transmitting something, receiver doesn't know what transmitter has transmitted till હું કરાવું 5 જ મિનિટ. I'm sorry. So the receiver doesn't have the copy of what transmitter has transmitted, but based on the calculations and implementations of the algorithms, it is predicting that the data which I have received is same what transmitter has transmitted or not. So if some of the errors occurred, then the implementation for the error detection and error correction, if it is there, then it would be easy for us for accepting or rejecting the data. So error can be anything like the link failure. This error detection can result into erroneous data, or otherwise drop of the data. Dropping of the data can always result into the duplication of the transmissions, right? So why this duplications occurs, how you can detect the errors, right? There are multiple scenarios for the error detection and error correction. You might have gone through the parity check, you must have gone through the Hamming codes, you must have gone through the linear block codes, you must have gone through the CRC, right? In that you might have seen the generator polynomial method, right? So errors are to be detected, and in some cases they are to be corrected as well. So on the lower level of algorithm implementation, we won't be able to correct them, we will be able to just detect the errors. Can anyone tell me the meaning of flow control? These are the issues because of which the layer architecture came in picture. What is flow control? Why is it needed? And in actual communication, how it comes. You can say that when your receiver is, yeah, yes.
I think so. It is the data transmission means.
The way in which data transmitted means, I'm not getting clear for this.
Let
Yes.
me just arrange the words.
Mhm.
Means how it is been means. Flow control, ma'am, is basically two things. One means I have two idea. One is the way in which it is transmitted, and other is the rate in which it is transmitted.
Good, great. Great to hear
Uh,
that. Fine.
yes, ma'am.
Yes. Anything else on receiver side?
Ma'am,
You had discussed the rate means a channel capacity, right? Krutarth. I hope it
Yes, ma'am.
was Krutarth,
Yes.
right? Yes. So it is, you had discussed two things. One, that is a transmission or transmitter, and another part, that is a rate at which it is getting transmitted. In place of that, you can put into another way, that is the receiver and the rate at which it is receiving.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right, it is the another scenario. આનું તમે કોડ જોશો ને, for any of the source code which are actually open in the Linux platform, so you will be able to see that receiver always announces something that is called as receiver's window, right? So receiver will tell you that the transmitter should transmit આટલો જ data, right? So flow control is needed when your transmission rate is very high compared to the receiver's capacity or your channel capacity, right? તમારી પાસે ડેટા બહુ બધો છે, you are able to flow it on very aggressive way, but your receiver is not able to receive it, it is not able to handle it, your channel capacity is not that much. Then when your channel is very thin, when we are talking about thin channel, એટલે any bandwidth is very low, the rate at which you can transmit is less. So even though your transmitter is having much more information to transmit, but the receiver doesn't have the capacity or the channel is not able to handle it, then it is in vain.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So in words, it is written in books, and in theories, it is written like, when the fast transmitters are making the receivers overwhelmed, right? So જે data છે, it will be overflown, and when that is an excess information flow, again the drops occurs. So whenever drops occurs, then you are in loss. તમારે loss recovery ના algorithms implement કરવા પડે, and you need to recover those losses, you need to identify even those losses in a correct way. So for that, so many implementations would be there, right? Multiplexing was the another issue. એક બીજું, when we'll be referring to the source code of Linux, you will be able to see that one of the parameter, that is receiver's window. So receiver's window would be declared as minimum of your receiver's capacity and channel capacity. એ બે માંથી જે ઓછું હશે ને, એટલો data transmitter will be informed to transmit, right? So in that way you can have the implementation of the flow control in your system. I hope it is clear. In majority of the theory parts we are talking about error control, because error control કેવું છે કે it is very pronoun. We have so many algorithms and pretty good algorithms. એને calculate કરવાની બી બહુ મજા આવે. If we are working for CRC or generator polynomial તો તમને calculation division કરવાનું કે એની બી બહુ મજા આવે. But when it comes to the flow control, very less people, those who have worked actually on the network, they do know what this flow control and how we can have it in the system. Multiplexing can be in two ways: multiplexing of the informations or otherwise multiplexing of the protocols. ઉપરના layer થી નીચેના layer પર when we are communicating, then you can have multiplexing of the multiple protocols on the upper layer when we are moving towards routing. Routing is what? Is to make the information routed to a particular path. That is what routing is. The network layer is dealing majorly with this particular issue, and you might have learned so many algorithms for routing, right? So how routing should take place? We should know the basic criteria based on which you can have the broad classification. Then you are narrow downing it with the different uh, implementation algorithms. Suppose you are talking about DSR, DSDV, right? AODV. If you are working for managed vehicular ad hoc network, you are working for the deep space network even. So Amathi, which protocol will be most suitable for the routing, right? So multiple things we are doing, but if you don't know the basics running behind routing, then it is in vain. So routing is what?
मैम આ deep space network શું હોય?
See, a broad community for the researchers. They are working for two parts. One, that is undersea communication, right? Suppose આપણે કોઈ satellite જોડે communication કરીએ, then it will take some thousands of seconds or otherwise milliseconds to make it communicated. If I do talk about the round trip time for the satellite link, it is maximum in a case 250 milliseconds. જ્યારે તમે underwater communication karo, right? And the another part that is the things which are not visible to us, and we are making the communication to those things, and we are not sure about the replies to come back, right? So in those cases the delays are very high, and they are considered to be the deep space networks or delay tolerant network. DTN is the very huge area in which people are working very extensively. The thing is, when you are doing the experiment, it takes number of days to get the results. So it is a question of patience when we are working with this kind of networks. And the entire community is working for this two types of networks where you do have very large delays. In computer networks, the important parameters which you will be evaluating will be your round trip time, will be the throughput which you are achieving, right? So there are different areas in which the research is right now going on, and one of them is the deep space network. If you go on the site of NASA, you will be able to see this deep space networking, how it deals with one satellite to another satellite communication, or otherwise your base station to the satellite communication, and how large delays are to be dealt with. In simulation part, you can easily carry out those researches, but when you are going for the actual communication, it will take number of days to make this possible, right? So yeah, I was on routing. Routing can be in any ways. You can have the hunting of the route in different manners, like hunting the number of nodes you want to travel, hunting of a path which is a geographical path through which you are traveling, but the optimization is always needed when you are dealing with the routing, right? The services through which you are communicating, they are as well important, because the uh, there is a mass who is supporting connection oriented services, and there is a mass which is supporting connectionless services. So how, where and when you can implement this connection oriented services or connectionless services, that is important for us, right? So in case of connection oriented services, you always need to establish a connection, you always need to release a connection after you are transferring the information. In case of connectionless services, it is just like a datagram services where you have posted a postcard, you are not bothering for its successful reception. આપણે એવું વિચારી લઈએ છે કે it is received by the receiver, but it is not a case. It is not a case. It might have been dropped somewhere, or otherwise the address is not correct, then the postal system is not able to transmit it, right? So what exactly the connection oriented services and connectionless services, can anyone tell me? Establishment of a connection is what? Is it to have a wire between two machines or something else?
No, ma'am, it is not necessary about wire.
Very good. So it can be wireless even.
Yes.
Yes. But connection establishment is what? A broad meaning of connection establishment is what?
એકબીજાનું પહેલા નામ કહેવાનું, પોર્ટ નંબર, આઈપી એડ્રેસ, મેક એડ્રેસ અને કઈ ટાઈપનો પ્રોટોકોલ યુઝ થશે.
Good. So the two parties are agreed upon making the data transfer, that you can say, right? So each and every condition on the each and every layer of two end users must match. So first of all, you will be sending a sync packet that will ask for an agreement from the receiver that whether it is ready to receive or not. એવી જ રીતે once it is been established, either wired or wirelessly, it doesn't matter. Connection establishment never means that it is a wired connection, right? It is an agreement between the two end users. So once it is been done, then you need to utilize that connection, and then again, once it is been done, the transmitter will indicate that the data which it had to get transmitted is now over, and it will ask for the release of the connection, right? So it is actually the reliable communication, where reliability is in center, right? If you talk about any of the protocol and a protocol na description ma, you will be able to find out the term reliability, then that is this reliability, where always even you will have the faithful communication in a way what you have transmitted, you'll get an acknowledgement for the receipt of that particular information with the address even, right? Suppose a frame you are transmitting or a segment you are transmitting, the address for a segment is 1001, right? And that segment carries 1500 bytes. What does it mean? કે next segment નું address શું આવશે? It is 1501, right? In the actual source code, you will be able to see one of the term that is called as maximum segment size, MSS. And that MSS is how much data a particular segment carries, right? So if it is 15 in simulation part, you can modify. In case of real environment, if you are doing it, then you need to compile your entire OS, then and then your implementation or modifications will be actualized, right? So when we are saying this, it is having the reliable communication, then you are transmitting something, you are getting an acknowledgement. If you do have any drops, then those drops will be identified, the correction of those corrupted bits can be done, and you can have the retransmission of the information. On another side, you do have connection list services, and you do have the datagram kind of services. You are flowing the information and you are not worried about it, right? What I am speaking, eમાંથી બે words if you are missing, then I don't bother. So for the audio video kind of files, the datagram services are used, whereas in the faithful communication, the connection oriented services are needed, right? One of the best example which are using this connection oriented services and connection list services are TCP and UDP. Right, so I hope it is clear about connection oriented services and connection list services. Something which we all know, that is set of layers and protocols, that is called as network architecture. The protocols at each layer, that combination is called as protocol stack. Basically in computer networks all the time we are talking about the two very well known reference models, the OSI reference model and TCP IP reference model. So very quickly, for in 10 minutes we will be going through this two reference models. Just have a look at this particular slide. Where these two particular reference models are widely popularly used. Whenever we are trying to understand computer networks, it is always mandatory for us to start with the open system interconnection model, that is OSI reference model, where protocols are rarely used anymore, but the model itself is very much popular to understand the computer networks. Whereas in case of TCP IP model, never make a mistake to have the full form of these two reference models. For us, it is very much important to have the correct full forms of open system interconnection and transmission control protocol internet protocol. In TCP/IP reference model, we do have the network layer replaced with the IP layer, right? So in case of TCP/IP model, the model itself is not much of the use, but yeah, protocols are very much popular. We do know, we are very much familiar with this model. 7 layers: application, presentation, session, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical. So the duties assigned to each and every layer, till final year people make mistakes into this. So in place of mugging up the things, you try to understand when we are talking about the physical layer, it is the actual communication where bit streams are flowing, right? So it actually deals with the physical medias and the communication techniques. કઈ modulation ની technique તમે use કરશો and which media through which your data is getting transferred or exchanged. That is important, right? So few of the points I have summarized over here for different layers. One of them is physical layer. Just go through that. It is concerned with transmitting the ones and zeros over the communication channel. So it is not actually ones and zeros, it is the actualization of ones and zeros, 5 volts and 0 volts. Or otherwise, if you are going for some another technology that is either CMOS or TTL, then it is having a specific range for the voltages, right, which can be considered to be 1, which can be considered to be 0, right? So these are the things: physical characteristics for the interface and media, representation of the bit, rate at which transmission takes place, synchronization of the bits, important, line configuration, topologies, and mode of transmission. Likewise, data link layer, it deals with the creation of the frames. There are different techniques for creation of the frame, but always you try to remember that के ऊपर वाले layers, they do take services from the lower layers, and the lower layers, they provide services to the upper layers, right? So data link layer, if you do talk about, it is a sandwich layer between physical and which layer? Network layer, right? So the data link layer will give services to the network layer, and it will enjoy the services provided by the physical layer. So framing, physical addressing, je apne MAC address we are talking about, right? So that addressing is done. Flow control, error control, and access control are handled at data link layer. In case of network layer, logical addressing, we know the IP address, right? So the logical addressing is done over here. Routing is the major issue on the network link. The another part, that is transport layer, where we are actually dealing with out of order delivery. So reassembling of the data is necessary. Reassembling careth high when we are knowing the addresses, right? So when you are fragmenting the data, the fragments must have the hierarchy of the addresses, right? A particular segment, when you are splitting a data into the different segments, then that particular data's address with the segment address should be there. Receiver is getting out of order delivery, then based on those addresses you are reassembling the information, right? Flow control and error control, there are some repetitions of the task assigned, but the mechanisms are different. Whereas when we are dealing with the session layer, it deals with the dialog control, which allows the traffic to flow in both directions, like what simplex, full duplex, and half duplex are. Right. In case of full duplex, you can have the information flow bidirectionally at the same time, whereas in case of simplex network, you do have one transmitter and one receiver. Whereas in case of half duplex, you will be having one user as transmitter and one as receiver at the same time, but simultaneously you won't be able to find out two transmitters and two receivers. Right. Presentation layer, it is concerned with the translation, encryption, and compressions. The different algorithms are been there implemented on this particular layers. The application layer deals with the variety of protocols like file transfer protocol, travel file transfer protocol, telnet even is a very well-known protocol, dynamic host configuration protocol, DNS as you said, SNMP is the another case, SMTP, that is simple mail transfer protocol, which you have already gone through, right? So this is a summary for the OSI reference model, which we have already gone through. The comparison of the two reference models you can prominently see over here, where merging of application, presentation, and session layer is done. The data link layer and physical layer are introduced as host to network interface, not a layer. The network layer is known as internet layer here. The transport layer and its duty are duplicated that. So when we are dealing with these two models, then it is bit confusing. So a hybrid model in different books, they are in general talks. So they do talk. So physical data link, network layer, transport layer, and application layer, that model is called as hybrid model, right? So in general, it is utilize. In case of TCP IP reference model, as I said you, internet layer is the layer which is replacing your network layer. The task assigned to both of them is same, that is hunting of a path, that is routing. So protocol implementation, protocol stack is been shown over here. You will be able to see this specific thing that is actualized at network layer when we are working with the internet protocol. In that you do have the sub hierarchy, address resolution protocol and RARP are there, whereas ICMP and IGMP, they are placed on the upper part, right? So it is having a significance. So hierarchically it is having the upper task assignment with the ARP and RARP. I would be stopping over here. We will be meeting after 10 minutes again for the discussion. Till now, if there are some queries, you can ask me.
Students, any doubt up to this?
It is just a discussion on your curriculum only.
Dhruval, Parth, Soumya, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
No,
It is good that you are interacting, and I am happy that your concepts are a bit clear. So we will be going towards a case study kind of thing in the next discussion. Actually, Amit sir suggested me to have some hands-on, but for that, you must be having something like a Linux installation, which you must be having as your computer IT students. And a Biju NS2 must be installed in your machines. So some of the scenarios I'll be showing, which you can implement later on by using network simulators, right? There are a number of simulators actually, not I should do the publicity for network simulator, but it is freeware, so it is easily available and it has plenty of options available, right? So in next session we'll be discussing the opportunities for research. So you have a break of 10 minutes. I'll start again after 10 minutes. So till now what we had discussed were the basics or the terminologies which are in general used in computer networks or data communication and networking. You might be having the theory subject when you will be going for your post graduation for the computer networks. So in those parts the basics would be very much useful to you. Some of the terminologies like maximum segment size, round trip time, right? These terminologies, throughput, good put, these terminologies are very frequently used in the area of computer networks. And you should, if you are not knowing, yeah, even flow control, congestion control, these terminologies should be known to you always. So the part or the experimental implementations I now would be talking about. Before I do go for them, we must be clearly understood about the way in which the experiments can be carried out. Right. So either you can go for the uh, simulation part, which computer IT people are very much acquainted with, and another part that is the actual implementation, right? So it can be in either in two way, but yeah, when we are going for the research at PhD level, it won't be enough for us to run only simulations. Some of the implementations on the real environment you should do. That is what I can suggest. And then your task and the publications can result into good output. So before we do go for anything else, we should understand the term simulator or the simulation, because there are always confusions between the simulator, the simulation implementation. So some of the research papers, they clearly and repeatedly they do say that what simulation is. So in one of the paper written by Mark Allman, it is written that single set of experiment using one testing tool is never enough evident to get a particular mechanism widely adopted. कोई एकज mechanism थी when you are doing the experiment by using that particular mechanism, it is not evident to have that particular scenario or the implementation to get widely accepted. એને દરેકે દરેક રીતે you need to cross verify. You need to repeat the number of times the experiment setup or the experiment simulations or otherwise the repeating the particular parameter. So by keeping some of the conditions same as it was, you should repeat the experiment again and again, and then you need to have the average of the results. That is what a single set of experiment using one testing tool is not enough evidence to get a particular mechanism widely adapted. So to make it widely adapted, you need to make the variety of experiments with different testing tools and in the different environment, right? Then and then it will get widely accepted. I have written the meaning of simulation, what it is. Can anyone read it for me? Ria, can you please tell me what is simulation?
Yes, ma'am.
Please read it out.
Yes, ma'am. A simulation is an approximate limitation for the operation of a process or a system that represents its operation over time. Simulation is used in many contexts, such as simulation of technology for performance tuning or optimizing, safety engineering, testing, training, and for education.
Okay, can you explain it? What it is written in words? Simulation is an approximate imitation for the operation of a process or system where you are not actually doing those things, but yeah, you do have imitation of those things or systems. It is not used in one context only. Simulation of the technology for performance tuning or optimizing for safety engineering, testing, training, and it can be done for the education purpose only. So suppose you are doing an experiment in the laboratory, you are transmitting the information, you are receiving the information, you are taking the dumps, right? So that process takes a huge bundle of time. Whereas when you are dealing with the simulator part, then it will take very small time period for execution of those conditions. As for example, suppose 100 nodes you want to implement. Just think about a condition. You are implementing 100 nodes in a laboratory. Is it feasible to have? Yes, definitely it is, but it is cumbersome, right? But in place of that, if you are doing the same thing on a simulator, then it will be very much easy to have its execution. So the actual conditions we are actually imitating on a simulator. So actually તમારે એ જોવું પડે કે suppose a particular type of network you are implementing. So that particular network in actual scenario will be having which parameters, right? In a particular geographical area, suppose you are working and that geographical area in actual condition is having 1500 nodes. So on simulator you need to put those 1500 nodes, and those you need to simulate on a particular simulator, right? So easily you will be able to cross check your conditions whether this is going to result into the required or expected outputs or not. That is why these simulators are important. They are imitation for the operation of a process which are actually happening in the real environment, right? Some of the good simulators you are using like MATLAB, network simulator you might be utilizing. What else you are using? For microcontrollers, for circuit simulations, we do use. I don't know whether you are using or not. Okay, so we'll be starting with this now. the actual case where we do have the computer networks. The factors affecting the computer networks are knowledge of basic concepts for the networking. The environmental conditions as well are important, right? We do know the disturbances because of the weather change even, right? Implementation differences, always we have to take care about the traffic under which we are working, that is as well important. આ બધા factors છે which are affecting your network to work properly, right? So always you have to take care of these things. And when we are doing the implementation, at that time always you have to keep these parameters in mind. Protocol is a standard set of rules that allows the electronic devices to communicate with each other. These rules include what type of data may be transmitted, what commands are used to send and receive the data, and how data transfer is confirmed. So, for that, the algorithms, different services, parameters which are changing, and the negotiation conditions, they are important when we are dealing with the protocols. Kaya algorithms are implemented on the protocols, which services those protocols are going to provide you, which parameters are going to get affected through this particular implementation of a protocol, and the negotiation between the two end users is as well important with the implementation of the protocols. When we are doing the evaluation of any of the network or a system, there are something which you have to keep in mind. That is one, that is performance issues. When you are doing the evaluation of a particular network, suppose a network of 1000 nodes you are implementing, then what will be the performance issues, that always you should know. Which network topologies you want to implement, that you should always keep in mind. એવું ના થાય કે when you are going for the ad hoc network, then you are making the wired connections. Suppose in a ad hoc network in a one geographical area, suppose mobile ad hoc network, the area is 1000 square kilometer to 1000 square kilometer. The expected mobile nodes are suppose 2000. Then the actual conditions always you have to work upon, right? The performance issues should be always considered. The topologies kv you are expecting them, you need to implement. The different network conditions always you have to see, and you always have to check for the heterogeneity, that is the media through which your signals will travel. Traffic, the number of nodes. Traffic means the number of nodes and their types, or otherwise the uh, data which is traveling between the end users, and the protocols which are implemented. There are some of the simulation tools I have kept over here, which in general we are using for the experiment implementation for the wired and wireless scenarios. Some of them are being mentioned over here. Linux was opted for the experiment purpose, not Windows, because it is open source and even it is freely available. Network simulators, Network Simulator 2, NS3, Omnet Plus, just JSIM, આ બધા છે, they are the open source network simulators, while the others, OpNet, GlomoSim, CallNet, which are the commercial network simulators. If you will try to find out the help for these simulators, you will be able to see plenty of helps for this network simulators. Animation for the network will give you the visualization for the number of nodes, the places for the nodes, the data packets which are flowing, droppings, queues. So network animator is always important, which will give you the graphical view for the simulation. There are some another tools also like xgraph, that is to plot the the different parameters on x-axis, y-axis, the different types of graphs you can have. Some of the scripts you can utilize which will be uh, having the gist of those data files which you are getting after the experimental creation. One of the implementation for vehicular ad hoc network was done by using one of the simulator that is called as Boon Motion. Some other traffic simulators, because when we are going for the this network implementation, then the traffic must be created, mobility must be created. So for them, the different simulators are used. Boon Motion is one of them. Even Sumo and Move Straw, they are very much popular simulators in case of vehicular ad hoc network. I have given a diagram for the congestion control offered by transmission control protocol. Try to understand it. I'll be asking few questions for this particular diagram explanation. Just go through this. Who has understood this congestion control algorithm? You might have studied it in the curriculum of your uh, computer networks subject. It is actually a diagram or a relationship between congestion window and round trip time. Your requirement is to have the congestion free flow of the data. Round trip time is what? Suppose you do have a transmitter and receiver. The transmitter is throwing an information, receiver is giving an acknowledgement for the reception of information. ये जे आपको cycle पूરું થાય ને, that is called as round trip time. Right, it is, in short, it is called as round RTT. So TCP is handsome enough to have its congestion control algorithm, where it is first of all very slowly starting its flow. It is starting its flow with one segment size. The data on the transport layer is called as segment. So it is initially starting the information with one segment size only. The network will check the condition for the traffic and the capacity for the receiver and transmitter. I'm sorry, the channel capacity, and will set one threshold. Till this threshold, the data is sent by doubling its segment size. Sorry. So initially, when the connection is established at that time, one segment is transmitted, then it is doubling, it will give the transmission of 2 segments, then for 4 segments, then for 8 segments. Once it is reached to the threshold value, then it is going to increase the flow by one segment size only. So initially it is doubling it, and this phase for TCP's congestion control algorithm is called as slow start. So it is starting with one segment, it is exponentially increasing, then it is going into the additive increase phase, where on each round trip time the congestion window size is increased by 1. Congestion window is a declared window through which you are transmitting the information without creation of a congestion. Congestion is what? Congestion is what? When you have, suppose, multiple transmitters whose capacity is higher than what the receiver can receive, right? So either it can happen because of the bottleneck created with multiple users and single output link that is not capable to handle that multiple data rates which transmitters are transmitting. So TCP deals on this congestion control algorithm. એ આ રીતે તમારો data handle કરે છે. Initially it is pushing it on the high rate of increase the congestion window. This congestion window size, suppose it is 16, so 16 into your segment size, as I said you, segment size is the, suppose your segment size is 1500 bytes, then एक segment में 1500 bytes are there. So if your congestion window size is 16, then how many bytes you can travel at a time? 16 into 1500 bytes, right? And in the next phase, once you are reaching to the threshold value, then your congestion window is incremented by 1 only. Suppose the retransmission timer expires in between. What is retransmission timer? Does anyone know? This is the algorithm on which I am going to discuss the particular case study. Retransmission timer, you know? Say yes or no. Do you know what is retransmission timer? RTO, have you read about? This timeout occurs when your timer gets expired. When this timer is getting triggered, initially when you start your data transfer, right? So when this retransmission timer expires, then again you are reducing your data flow to the initial part, and that was one segment size, right? Again, you need to go for the threshold setup. Threshold અહીંયા set કેટલું થશે? When your timer expired, એ સમયે congestion window was 20. So your next threshold will be half of it. This is implemented into Linux source code very clearly. It makes your congestion window half, and 20 nu it will now become 10. So till you reach to 10, this is going to make your congestion window double. This is it. But once you are reaching to this threshold value, that is 10, then you will go for the next phase, that is additive increase. Now suppose here some data has been lost. Timeout and duplicate acknowledgements, when they do occur, when there is a loss of data. So suppose here there is a loss of information, then duplicate acknowledgements would trigger in place of actual acknowledgements. Duplicate acknowledgements શું હશે? Can anyone tell me? Suppose a segment 1001 is transmitted and it is dropped, it is lost, right? હવે આપણી segment size આપણે કેટલી લીધી? 1500 bytes ની. તો next segment નું address શું આવશે? 1501, right? So first segment is lost with the address 1001, and that is lost. In place of that, the next segment is received out of order, જેનું address is 1501 છે, right? So what it will do? It will do the triggering of what it is expecting, right? Receiver શું expect કરે છે એનું acknowledgement it will give you. So it is actually expecting 1001 value segment. So it will give an acknowledgement for 1001, right, on reception of 1501 value segment. Once it is been done, pachinu segment out of order will be 3001, right? So 3001 will be delivered out of order, and you will get an acknowledgement for again 1001. Every રીતે next segment will be which one? 4501. Again, on reception of it, it will give an acknowledgement for 1001 only, right? So 3 duplicate acknowledgements when it receives, again it will be reducing your flow, will make your congestion window half of what you are standing at. અહીંયા કેટલી હતી that you have to see. If it is 12, then this is going to get reduced to half of it, that is 6. And when 3 duplicate acknowledgement occurs, at that time it is going directly into the additive increase in place of going into the slow start phase. So linearly data will be transmitted to the receiver. So this algorithm is heart of the transmission control protocol. We need to work for the network simulators. We will be preferring the free and open source softwares, so they are easily available and there is no cost for buying it and implementing it, even for the renewing it. Parameters manipulation at each layer we have to see. We have to see for the request for approval, they are called as RFCs. We have to see the different literatures and will result into recognition of the research. We have to see the availability of the codes for the recent research. So majorly the simulators on which the researchers are working, they are Network Simulator 2 and NS3, right? Popularly people were working on NS2, and then after the implementation of NS3 came in the picture. So now the things are being changed. But yeah, as NS2 has ruled out the computer networks community for years, it has plenty of helps available, which NS3 might not be having. So if we talk about the programming languages, NS2 implementations are done using the OTCL scripting language and C++ for the simulation. So two things you have to work for. One, that is source code implementation, that is done on OTCL scripting language, whereas different topologies and everything you are creating, it is more or less just kind of C++ implementation. Whereas NS3 is implemented using C++. With the modern hardware capabilities, the compilation time for NS2 and NS3, they are not of much concern, right? But there is a limited support for Python in scripting and visualization for the case of NS3. The memory management is the another issue which we should discuss for this two network simulators. NS2 requires basic manual C++ memory management functions, whereas NS3 is implemented in C++. All the normal C++ memory management functions such as the new malloc and the free are still available like the older days. The packet consists of two distinct regions, one for header and second stores the payload data, right? Whereas in this case, buffer corresponds exactly to the stream of bits that would be sent over the real network. The performances, you can have a check on that. The competition time required by NS2 is pretty good. I'm sorry, NS3 is pretty good than NS2. It is having high speed in that case. Whereas NS3, you can say it performs better than NS2 in terms of the memory management. NS2 comes with the network animator. The package that is to be installed is called NAM file. It is TCL based network animator, whereas NS3 employs a package known as PyVis, which is a Python based real time visualization for the packets. There are some myths existing about NS3 which you should know. NS3 is not backward compatible with NS2. It is built from the scratch to replace NS2. It is not an upgradation to NS2. It is built from scratch. NS3 is written in C++. Python programming language can be optionally used as an interface. It has tried to resolve the problems which were occurring in NS2. Very limited number of contributions to the code are made with NS3 compared to NS2. As I said you, it ruled for years. NS2 ruled for years. So each and every help is available in case of NS2. Different APIs you can install and you can run it just like what you are doing for the games extensions. NS3 has emulation node which allows for the integration with the real network. Simulation ni साथे साथे I should make the term emulation also clear. Emulation is what? It is a combination of the simulator and the real environment. So some of the conditions in the real environment we can have with some of the simulated conditions. So there are some emulators. One of them I have discussed in this PPTs, that is NIST-NET, which can make your actual nodes and the bandwidth implementations feasible. The limitations for the simulation, we do know analysis is always restricted. It is not reliable as the test conducted with the real implementations over the real networks. Flaws and vulnerabilities are not abstracted by the simplified simulation model. This is all we had discussed with respect to the TCP's congestion control algorithm. The facts for the real environment validation, actual system implementations or elements are difficult to set up, whereas in simulation it is very much easy. So limited parameter space that can be controlled during the experiment. Some of the parameters only you can control. The result obtained in the real life situation are trustworthy compared to the simulations. A strong evidence in favor of or against of proposed or modified algorithms or implementations can occur. Internet applications such as video streaming, Napster, IP telephony, multicasting on UDP can be done, and it can have the comparison with the TCP traffic. So evaluation in general for the experimental simulation basis, એક એવું કરી શકાય કે in that you can have the real environment conditions only, which can be made set up in your laboratory, and with the laboratory you can have the server set up at some remote location, or you can have with the satellites. So few things you can simulate, few things you can emulate, and few things you can carry out on the real environment. So two set of experiment on real environment I have added, that is live internet testing and the satellite link testing. I'll be showing you the scenario in which you can carry out the simulations, or otherwise you can carry out the real environment test. So some of the scenarios which experimentally we had tested, I have kept them over here. Dedicated wired or wireless subnetworks you can see, which we will be discussing in next few slides. A shared and congestion prone networks. Yeah, your resources will be same and will be shared by the multiple users. And the heterogeneous network, where you do have the wired as well as the wireless scenario, or otherwise the different implementations for the protocols you can have. So one of the scenario, very simple dedicated wired network, where you do have the end-to-end communication between node 1 and node 3. In between that, you do have one router. Between this router and the destination, that is your outgoing link, the errors are occurring. Suppose you are making this particular link wireless, right? Then in that case it is prone to delays, it is prone to the errors. So in simulation part you can introduce the most happening error rates and the delays over here. And the another scenario that is been discussed over here, I told you that congestion or congested network with the multiple sources. Suppose you do have different implementations of TCP over here, you can have anything at that particular point, but we had worked for the TCP's implementation. Then number of sources here with the different incoming capacities. Suppose 5 Mbps is this incoming data rate, whereas outgoing capacity is 2 Mbps. So અહીંયા શું થશે, you'll be having 15 Mbps over here, and on outgoing link how much you'll be having, 2 Mbps, right? So it's going to create a bottleneck definitely, right? So your your this source, what it is transmitting, won't be getting successfully flown through the outer link. So it is going to create the congestion, right? So that is a case which you should always know how the congestions or the bottleneck has been created, right? So that bottleneck can be present over here or it can be present over here. Always we have to see the actual conditions and then after we can simulate it, right? Sometimes you can have the comparison of TCP with UDP as it is a connectionless protocol and it is providing the datagram services. Then obviously majority of this bottleneck it is going to occupy with respect to the TCP. એટલે મોટા ભાગનું 5 Mbps નો જે data rate છે it would be occupied by UDP. So it has to, TCP has to compete with the datagram flow, that is UDP, and we can have the check with the competing datagram protocol. Fairness and the friendliness check can be the another condition. Fairness is what and friendliness is what? Can anyone tell me? Fair is what? Tamari પાસે nodes on the source side, you do have 5 nodes, right? When you can say that this 5 nodes are fair enough, 5 Mbps ની capacity હું આપું, then those 5 Mbps is equally divided between these 5 sources, then it is called as fairness. But suppose 5 Mbps is the link capacity available to us and 3 of the nodes are not utilizing it, then N3 and N4 are fully occupying those 5 Mbps, right? That is called as friendliness, right? As the resources are not utilized by the other people, I am utilizing it, I am friendly enough to them, right? So those type of condition checks you can have. Even you can go for the dedicated wireless networks where you do have the source destination and router per ek emulator you can implement this. On the real environment we have already done on the laboratory part. You can see that how these are machines are connected in the same network. Here this router has the emulator built upon, so you can manipulate the conditions for the source destination and the bandwidth capacity. NIST net, which we had used for the emulation purpose, in which you can have this kind of parameters to get implemented. Source no IP address, you can put destination IP address, you can have the bandwidth capacity, you can have the delays to be introduced. So some of the part you can carry out on the uh, real environment and some of the part you can simulate, right? So some of the results I have also kept here for this different networks. For the dedicated network where we do have end to end 3 node વાળો જે scenario હતો, in that particular scenario if you are comparing the 3 TCPs, more or less the behavior would be same. Alag alag parameters you can have, right? So these are the error prone system. So alag alag error rates we had introduced and you can see that, right? So even with the other parameters, like one evaluation we have done for the throughput, another evaluation we have done for the congestion window utilization, right? Error જે રીતે તમે increase કરતા જશો on a simulator, then you'll be getting the performance analysis for the different implementations. એવી જ રીતે for the round trip time you can carry out the experiment, and each experiment I to suggest that you have to repeat hundreds of times and you can have the average of those results. As I told you, XGraph is one of the tool. It is pretty enough to plot this results on the time scale, and you can have this pretty good labeling even, right? This graph, actually we have carried out number of experiments, and then we had a check for the fairness and friendliness check. In alag alag scenarios we had created fairness and friendliness network. I have shown you, yeah. So here these 5 nodes are the competent nodes. We are competing with each other, where you don't have any occurrence of the errors, and we have increased the number of one of the TCP implementation without any error. The behavior is more or less same, but yes, when you are going to introduce the errors and you are increasing the number of Reno implementation, then it is going to give you the very wide difference of the performance in these two implementations of the TCP. Likewise, you can work for the competing UDP flow. If you will try to see, majority of the bandwidth is occupied by UDP, as it is connectionless services support provided. Likewise, in case of wireless networks, you do have plenty of threads. With that also, we are working with the wireless, as speed is important, right? So some of the simulation setup for the vehicular ad hoc network I have included, but I don't think I'll be able to make it completed. So these are the different scenarios. एक we had set up at Dharamsi Desai University, and the internet traffic was introduced till UV Patel College of Engineering, and then we had done the analysis for the existing implementation and the modified implementation, and we could get the pretty good implementations results. So these are the different things which you can implement. Even you can, if you are working for the vehicular ad hoc network, it is pretty good area in which you can work. The delay tolerant network, as I said you, it is a pretty good scenario. If you are going for the implementation on the real environment, then you can have the publication even for the patents, not only for the papers. So some of my students have even published 4 or 5 patents with me. Out of them, 2 are in the granting phase. So we are as well working for the publication of the Indian patents with the SSIP, and there are some references which we have referred. So any questions from your side? I would like to have the feedback from one of the student who has attended the entire uh, class, entire discussion. Madam, I think there are no questions.
Yes. Soumya, Dhruval,
Yes, ma'am.
any doubt, any feedback you want to give?
No, ma'am. The session was nice, and much of our basics got more clear than they were. We got to know something more about it. We got to know a different perspective to look into the networks. So the session was good.
Okay.
Anything on the second session?
Dhruval, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
See, those who want to carry out research in the area of computer networks, then this would be very much useful. કદાચ અત્યારે on this particular level we don't know the things like this implementations on simulators or on emulators or otherwise on the real environment, right? Kernel recompilation and all terms, and you people are very much familiar with the kernel recompilation or otherwise with this coding techniques. Even simulators are well understood by you compared to us. So try to see that whether it is useful to you at some point of executions or not, right? Happy to interact
Ma'am,
with you. Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Yes, Roll.
Like
If
અત્યારે ક્વેશ્ચન પૂછી લો. વાંધો નહીં ને.
yes, yes.
તો મેમ તમે કીધું કે લાઈક તમે ઈસરોમાં લાઈક રિસર્ચ પ્રોજેક્ટ્સ ને આપે તો એનું કંઈક ડિસ્ક્રિપ્શન લાઈક ડિટેલ્સ જો તમે આપી શકતા હો તો આગે.
Actually, sure, we can. Actually, we have done the source code modification. એક જે implementation એવું હતું કે we were doing end to end communication, જેમાં એક source હોય, એક destination હોય અને એક router હોય. One another scenario which we had considered was a congested network. હવે આની અંદર અત્યારના જે implementation transport layer ના છે ને એને we had studied. So there are plenty of implementation for the transport layer. એટલે પહેલામાં પહેલું task what we had done was comparison of the existing implementations and the different parameters were analyzed. Then after what we have done, we have concluded that these are the parameters which needs improvement, and these parameters can be made improved by using this particular algorithms. એટલે as for example હું એક લઈ લઉં કે congestion window utilization વધારે હોય તો throughput તમારું improve થાય કારણ કે તમારો data flow increase થયો. હવે congestion window improvement sometimes કેવું હોય કે even though the capacity is available, we are not fully utilizing it. So એને properly utilize કરવા માટે જે rigid તમારા algorithms છે, those are flexible, થોડા dynamic એને બનાવવા પડે. So if you study the source code for, મેં particularly TCP પર કામ કરેલું છે. So I have gone through all the source code for all the implementations of the TCP in the Linux source code. ત્યાર પછી શું કર્યું? We have modified it as per the improvement parameters in the satellite links, and the major parameters were throughput and delay, right? So suppose in એક કેસમાં 250 મિલીસેકન્ડ નો ડિલે આવતો હોય કે 225 મિલીસેકન્ડ્સ નો ડિલે આવતો હોય, which I could cut down to 150 millisecond, then also the research was appreciable. So what we had done કે source તમારો અહીંયા base station પર હોય in the space application center, we have implemented our algorithm. Then a bunch of data by using the file transfer protocol, as you know that TCP should give you the services to the file transfer protocol. So FTP karine we have sent the information to the satellite. Now in how much time you are getting your response back, that was an issue, right? So we majorly work for the delay, and those delays could be reduced by our new implementation on the actual satellite link communication. એટલે simulation માં તો અમે લોકોએ કરેલું જ. ત્યાર પછી what I have shown you, આ જે છે ને એક you might be knowing Hemal sir. He was at UV Patel College of Engineering. So Hemal sir na through we had done one setup, server setup here at UV Patel Mehsana. અને અહીંથી અમારો ડેટા અમે ઇન્ટરનેટમાં ટ્રાફિક તરીકે we have forwarded. Now at the different instance of times, we have forwarded this information. So those timings were 7 a.m., 7 p.m., 10 a.m., 5 p.m., 2 p.m. Like that, we had transferred 10 MB file from this different clients at one place. ત્યાંથી અહીંયા અમે flow કર્યો and we have analyzed it. So based upon the uh, traffic timings, we could get the different results. But yeah, we could conclude that our implementation could result into the better performance. And it is not necessary that your research would result into improvement always. It can be having the improvement in few of the scenarios only. એટલે મારી મચડીને એને દરેક જગ્યાએ મસ્ત છે એવું કરીને 100% output બતાવી દેવું, it is never mandatory. Friends, you show that it is behaving in this particular way in this particular situation. તમે દરેક જગ્યાએ બેસ્ટ નહીં આપી શકો, right? So don't get afraid of negative results or less results. I hope I have answered to your question.
Ma'am.
Okay. Okay, madam, can we wind up?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, on behalf of Devang Patel Institute of Advanced Technology and Research, I wanted to express our sincere thanks to you, ma'am, your efforts, and thank you so much for delivering such a nice talk on computer networks, and also for discussing regarding the whatever the projects you have carried out, and how to deal with the networking problems. It was such a nice session. I hope students have made get the benefit from this particular session, right? Thank you so much, and thank you so much, students, for attending this session. And I would also like to thank Amit Ganatra sir as well as Path Goyal sir for providing us such a platform for conducting such kind of talks. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to discuss with the students. It is always my pleasure to discuss with the students, and my special thanks to Professor Amit Ganatra sir. So I hope students will get benefit out of it.
Yes, ma'am. And I guess some of the students are also interested in some project kind of works, like you shared your ISRO project work. So I guess Ruel is very much interested in that. So I think he will be contact you in a near time.
Sure, madam. Any kind of feedback you can share later on even, and I'll be happy to help the students anywhere at any time, right?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you so
Sure.
much.
Let me know. Have a good day.
Same to you, ma'am.
Yeah.
So students, now for 1 hour you are having your lunch break, so you can get your lunch, and in a mail you have received one mail for the feedback, so you are requested to fill up that feedback form for this, and after 2 o'clock you can start with your lab and lectures. Okay, thank you for joining.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.